George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation. It's time to check your money. Yay! With America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, we do. We have a very special guest again. In fact, I don't know if we should continue.
You know, right after I rolled that off my tongue, I was like, he ain't special no more. Who ain't special no more?
Our regular crew, the friendly neighborhood advisor. But before I bring Mike on, just want to make a couple of comments on some special economic news that happened this week. And that has to do with the fact that the chairman of the Federal Reserve gave a very intensive and complete news conference today following the announcement that interest rates are being moved up by 0.5%. If you've had a chance, or if you have a chance to actually listen to the replay of the news conference, I would suggest that you do so. Chairman Powell happens to be one of the most, and I've listened to a lot of these conferences, but he is one of the clearest speakers concerning economic conditions and the financial markets that we've had in a long time. So I think most people will be able to understand what he's saying as to the reasoning for the increases. This is not bad news. This is actually forward-thinking news to make sure that we don't have hyperinflation like we experienced back in the 80s. I know some of you are probably thinking in the 80s, who cares, because I wasn't born, but listen, George and I lived it, and we know that we don't want to go back into that type of environment. So take a moment if you can, listen to the news conference, and actually take time to digest some of the things that are going on there. But George, at this point in time, I am going to go ahead and bring on our friendly neighborhood advisor, because I know that he has some special things that he wants to talk to us about. So Mike, let's go ahead and take it away.
All right. So yes, we had another submission through the website. So that's good. We know the website is working.
Before Michael goes, do we want to like introduce him as like Michael Jennings?
Well, I'm not special anymore.
Right.
So
listen, I made the assumption that at this point in time, he's been on 3 times. Everybody knows. We gotta
holler at the brother anyway, Vicki.
All right, so we welcome Michael Jennings. Michael Jennings is a wealth consultant, financial planning associate with Brackens Financial Solutions Network here in Syracuse, New York. His moniker, his call letters, his persona is the friendly neighborhood advisor. And once a month, he will be joining us every month near the top of the month to talk about a particular subject that one of our listeners has called in or sent in through our website. Mike, now you go ahead and take it away.
All right. Yep. We have a question this month from a young lady named Bridget. And Bridget asks, hello, I was wondering if there was a way that I could easily take money out of my IRA. And she also asked if it was possible to do this online as well. And now there's a couple ways to look at this question based on, kind of how general it is. As far as, can you take money out of your IRA? Yes. Can you do it online? More than likely. Can it be done easily? Now, that's the real question right there. But before we get into why that is, we can do a little explaining as to what an IRA is for the people who may be unaware. So an IRA stands for an individual retirement account. And it is a savings account that is available through many different financial institutions, such as your bank, et cetera. And IRAs have tax treatment similar to other types of retirement accounts, such as a 401k that a person might have through their employer. And now, let me reiterate this. The R in IRA stands for retirement. So this isn't like a regular savings account that you might have at your bank where you may put some in one month and take some out every so often. It's designed for long-term saving and investing. And again, IRAs have almost the same treatment as an employer retirement account, meaning that there are penalties if you take the money out before a certain time, generally being before you reach the age of 59 and a half years old. Now, more specifically, that will incur a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of the withdrawal itself being taxed. So that is quite hefty.
Oh, you're sitting here thinking 59 and a half, that's a long time. And I didn't actually see how old Bridget was, but I'm glad you emphasized, Mike, that taking money out early would put you in a position of having taxes and penalties, and that the word is retirement, individual retirement account. But when we look at IRAs, are there only, what different types of categories of IRAs are there? Can you explain those to us?
Yeah, there's a good handful. You have traditional and Roth IRAs, which are generally for the more average individual. Most people probably heard of those two. There's also SEP and simple IRAs. Those are for self-employed individuals and also small business owners, respectively. There's also self-directed IRAs, which are probably more for the more savvy investor. All of these different types of IRAs are designed for different circumstances. And while they are all similar in nature, those differences may have a big impact on your overall financial plan. So you got to make sure you choose the right one that fits your individual situation.
Mike, you mentioned individual IRAs and Roth IRAs. Are there any differences between the two of those?
Yes, for traditional, so that is the contributions for those are going to be tax deductible versus the the Roth IRA, which are non-tax deductible, since the Roth IRA uses after-tax dollars. So those are already taxed. So what that means is once you contribute to that IRA, when you take that money out after a certain amount of time, they're not going to tax you again since it's already been taxed before it went in. So that's a big advantage for the Roth IRA and why it's so popular.
So what would you tell someone if they were thinking about opening up an IRA?
What I would tell them, well, again, the differences in the types of IRAs that you can choose from can have a big impact, again, on your financial situation. So what is important is make sure that you choose the right one. Again, as we speak about all the time, our firm is focused on holistic financial planning, meaning we're looking at the bigger picture and how every component of your finances are going to work together. So I would advise anyone listening to give me a call and we can work together and get an in-depth understanding of your situation. And if any of these IRAs would work for you, we're 100% going to work through every step, work with you through every step of the way. And that's with any aspect of your finances. All it takes from you is your first step in knowing that you need help and simply asking for it.
Now, George, you've been really quiet. I know you normally ask a question. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I think he did a really good job of answering the questions, especially about the difference between the Roth IRA and the traditional IRA. So good job, Michael.
Mike, you must really have George in a Spengali. He would never let me get away with not asking another question. Okay, to see if I was on my toes. Okay?
One more thing that we can add, since tax season just finished for most people, you may have noticed Saver's tax credit mentioned somewhere in that process. Now, the IRS, they actually give lower to middle income earners a tax credit for contributing to a retirement plan, such as an IRA. And that's to encourage people to save. And it's based on the amount that you contribute, but you can actually get a credit of up to $1,000 against your tax liability.
Which I think is really fantastic. And thanks, Mike, for remembering that, because a lot of individuals don't realize that saving through your IRAs or through your 401ks or your 403b plans, depending on your income level, may provide an actual credit to you. So In fact, I think probably when we post this show, we'll drop those income requirements in there so that everyone knows. I have a gift for you, George. Look at this. I'm gonna try something new. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. Right there. Right there. Yes.
Right there? Okay.
Yes.
All right, then listen. We are going to give anyone who sends in a question to the Friendly Neighborhood Advisor that we use on air one of our super duper shopping bags. Now, you remember, George, just before the pandemic started, they passed the legislation saying you couldn't use plastic anymore.
Right, in New York.
So we
in New York
ordered
State.
these.
Yes.
And we've been holding on to them because we weren't really seeing many people who were coming through the office. But now we want to encourage everyone, start using your cloth bags again, but most of all, to send out your questions to the Friendly Neighborhood Advisor at Brackens Financial Solutions Network. And if we use your question on air, we will happily send you one of these shopping bags. That doesn't include you, George, because I know you're going to try and send in a question.
You know that's
you know
right.
all the questions to ask. Okay. But anyway, to everyone, Mike, thank you again for coming on this week and for talking about IRAs. We want to encourage everyone to go to our YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel and like, subscribe, and share. You can also reach us and follow us on Facebook. And Mike, what's that phone number for them to reach you?
Yep, you can give me a call at 315-748-5540. Again, that's 315-748-5540. Or you can also email me at michael.jennings@brackensfsn.com.
And so, George, at this point in time, I will say our plate is full.
All right. Vicki Brackens and Michael Jennings. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.